The shocking truth behind the Eagles trade deadline was revealed to us this past week as Howie Roseman all but confirmed that he was in on a prominent pass rusher in the NFL. And I'll tell you why this is important for the Eagles moving forward into 2025 and beyond. What's going on, guys? Alex Brooks back here on Eagles Digest to give you guys everything surrounding the Philadelphia Eagles. We are getting so much closer to this game against the Green Bay Packers on Monday Night Football. I know the Eagles are just going to have to, we're just going to have to wait for more days to get some Eagles football here, but we'll give you all the coverage on Eagles Digest. But before we get into this video, we're currently at 906 subscribers on the channel. So if you're tuning into these videos and you aren't subscribed, better hit that subscribe button. It is free, as well as comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on everything surrounding the Philadelphia Eagles. Want to know what you guys think regarding the Birds. But getting right into this video is we're talking about Howie Roseman and this NFL trade deadline. And I mentioned, before the NFL trade deadline, before the big trade that the Eagles got getting Jaelan Phillips from Miami, that the Eagles were prominent on getting someone like Myles Garrett in Philadelphia. I mean, there was rumors that, Eagles were looking at getting Myles Garrett for a big price, like 3 first-round picks was the rumor that I was hearing. But I definitely think that the Eagles, it wasn't just a rumor that was going around. I definitely think that there's a lot of different things that we can digest from this with Myles Garrett going to Philadelphia. He had that sort of connection back in the offseason when he wanted to get traded to a contender, and Eagles fans were wanting him to go into Philadelphia. But there's definitely something that was circling around when he was asked about the questions of the trade rumors that were happening, and I wanted to share this with you guys surrounding Myles Garrett. He said on the trade rumors, what Howie Roseman and the Eagles choose to talk to Andrew Berry about, the Browns GM, that is of no concern until they bring me into the room. And this is something that's very interesting to get from Myles Garrett. I know it's not a lot, and he also said that he didn't know the trade deadline was that day. He thought it was a different day. What I look at that from just mentioning Howie Roseman's name and just mentioning the Philadelphia Eagles in general in that and just not dismissing it as something else, it definitely seems like there was some sort of thing where he cared about this trade deadline, and he was really, in on, hey, am I going to be traded to this team? Definitely think that there was something, brewing there, even if it wasn't exactly confirmed that the Eagles were in on Myles Garrett. It definitely was something where the Browns and the Eagles were talking at one point, knowing that he could be on the move, especially with his contract and everything that he has done this season for the Cleveland Browns, as they want to get, more draft picks and get, really back into contention there. But they definitely know that with Myles Garrett, that would be a huge blockbuster. That was unfortunately not the case for the Philadelphia Eagles to get, but definitely think there was something brewing. And from Howie Roseman, he talked a little bit about the success and the trades that he was making. He said, I think for you to get to the top, that you've got to be willing to take chances. That Howie Roseman said may look controversial at times. And so if there was an opportunity to do that, with that, we thought it gave us also an opportunity to be the last team standing, put confetti on our heads, and we're going to be aggressive in that direction. And this was definitely something for the Philadelphia Eagles, that they were aggressive. They wanted to get the big meal ticket. Myles Garrett in Philadelphia was talked about with Howie Roseman and his staff, because there was, you obviously know that with the Eagles issues at the pass rush, that they wanted to get the big guy. They wanted to throw out those draft picks to get the big guy in Philadelphia, because that would just transform this whole defense. I mentioned it before, last week and a couple weeks ago, talking about how Myles Garrett could have that big effect for this Philadelphia Eagles team. And now knowing the truth surrounding these rumors that turned out they had a little bit more meat on the bone than we may have thought of with Myles Garrett and Philadelphia. It would be interesting to see moving forward into the offseason if those conversations start brewing up again, especially if Cleveland's not looking like they are going to go into an upward swing in their, being able to play competitive football. I mean, they definitely have a lot of dysfunction at this point right now. So Myles Garrett could be knocking on that trade rumor mill a little bit more going into the offseason. So we'll keep you all updated here on Eagles Digest. And, just transferring over to the guy that the Eagles did have, because we're not going to forget that the Eagles have Jaelan Phillips, and they traded a third-round pick for Jaelan Phillips. And I love this trade coming out of Miami. The Eagles getting someone who is familiar with Vic Fangio, really someone who is coming from a team that wasn't competitive at all. There was a lot of turmoil. There was a lot of toxic, environments there in Miami, and definitely just knowing from Jaelan Phillips and what he was saying throughout his press conferences and all the interviews that he's had, he is much more happy being in Philadelphia. Looking at what he said about getting traded to the Philadelphia Eagles, this is something that just made me grin from ear to ear, saying Jaelan Phillips says being traded to the Eagles is literally the best thing that's ever happened to him in his life. Now, just take a step back from that. Jaelan Phillips, we learned that, he's married and he has a son, and he just said that the best thing that's ever happened to him is going from Miami to Philadelphia. Now, Miami, they have some warm weather out there. They have some warm weather. They have, a lot of, different things in Miami. Going up to Philadelphia, just knowing how toxic it was down in Florida, now going to the Philadelphia Eagles, a potential Super Bowl contender this season. Jaelan Phillips just said that was the best thing that's happened to him in his life. That just shows what Jaelan Phillips is about. That shows what his character is, how competitive he is, and how he wants to win a championship. And he wants to put himself in those big moments like the playoffs, like the Super Bowl. He wants to make an imprint on this league, knowing that he is a very young pass rusher who just really wants to get involved and wants to be on a team that believes him in. And the Eagles definitely did. So that's something that really made me happy to know that Jaelan Phillips is going to the Philadelphia Eagles, and he is wanting to play for this team, and he's wanting to, just continue his career in Philadelphia. Just knowing that he, got here and saying those comments, he probably wants to be in Philadelphia for the rest of his career, just looking at what he was saying. So really big by the Philadelphia Eagles to get someone like this. Get him in a room with Brandon Graham, get him in a room with Nolan Smith, just another guy on this defensive line that is going to try and feast and play in big games. Because, the season, it gets only more tough. We got the Green Bay Packers, we got the Detroit Lions, and we got the Dallas Cowboys the next 3 weeks. So big games, big primetime games, 4 o'clock window games, 8 o'clock games that we're going to be looking at for the Philadelphia Eagles. So Jaelan Phillips better be ready to put your imprint and put it on fast for this Philadelphia Eagles team. So that was something that was definitely so great to hear. And John Clark reported this on Jalen Hurts, talking a little bit about Jaelan Phillips, saying he's a hell of a player. You see that from being on the other side of the ball. It's always cool to have one of those guys on your side with his competitive character just being here a short period of time. He's just focused on how he can contribute. You go to sleep one day and you wake up in a different situation. I know he's excited about that. It's about being all in and getting better as the season goes on. He's excited to do something special. And yeah, that's something with the Philadelphia Eagles right now. They are excited to get something rolling right now. The Philadelphia Eagles right now, they haven't played football in what seems like forever. I understand you guys are, I'm feeling it as well. I'm antsy. I want to see the Philadelphia Eagles play some football, and we have to wait till Monday night. So we got to wait a couple days to just see when the Philadelphia Eagles are going to face off against the Green Bay Packers. So I'm excited for that matchup. I'm excited to see what Jaelan Phillips and the rest of this defensive line is looking like out of the bye week. There's definitely going to be some things that the Eagles are going to throw at the Green Bay Packers that they haven't seen before. So it's going to be definitely interesting looking forward to that game. But that's going to do it for another edition of Eagles Digest. Before I let you guys go, I'm going to raise this question to you. Did the Eagles set themselves up for a Super Bowl in 2025? Comment down below what you think about the Philadelphia Eagles, and did they set themselves up for a Super Bowl in 2025? Because this was definitely something where this trade deadline and all of these vibes that are coming out of the NovaCare complex are at a sky high right now. And I think that going into this mini gauntlet of a schedule, they're going to do business as usual. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Let's go Birds and fly Eagles fly.